In 303, the gentlewoman from Wisconsin, Ms. Moore, and a member each opposed will have 5 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Wisconsin.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I rise today to offer an amendment along with my colleagues Frederica Wilson from Florida and Danny Davis of Illinois. This amendment is just straightforward, Mr. Chairman. It's protective in nature, and it ensures that high poverty schools are not adversely affected by H.R. 5's proposed change in the funding allocation formula for teacher support and development under Title II of the ESEA. Now, Mr. Chairman, if we don't adopt this amendment, we may inadvertently break a long bipartisan agreement that we've had regarding our fundamental need to ensure that our low-income students are not assigned less qualified teachers than their advantaged peers. The reality is that school districts serving students in poverty face many challenges in recruiting and retaining teachers as well as other qualified staff. And I believe that the Rules Committee made this in order because they wanted the body to have an opportunity to meet this long bipartisan agreement. H.R. 5 as currently drafted, would totally eliminate the current formula, which focuses on funding students in poverty and replaces it with a formula that equally weights poverty and population. As written, we have strong reason to fear that H.R. 5 would result in federal dollars being siphoned from states and schools with the poorest students and awarded to states and schools without similar levels of poverty. Our amendment, again, requires that this change to the funding formula could not be enacted if our fears were realized, and the Secretary of Education would determine that such a change would reduce funding to districts serving students in poverty. This amendment would not add a penny to the cost of the bill. Our intention is only to safeguard the very teacher supports that help us close the achievement gaps for low-income students. The bill we're considering today, H.R. 5, consistently backs away from our long-standing federal commitment to direct funding to students with the greatest need, including those attending high-poverty schools. There are a lot of factors that affect this child's performance at school, and some of these we just can't control. But this is one thing that we can control, the level of quality of the people standing in front of our children. And I'd like to reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman reserves the balance of her time. What purpose does the gentleman from Indiana seek recognition?
Mr. Chairman, I rise to claim the time in opposition, but I do not intend to oppose the amendment.
Without objection, the gentleman is recognized.
As I read the gentlewoman's amendment, I see that it will protect Title II funding to high poverty school districts. Now, although the Student Success Act that we're debating here on the House floor right now funds school districts on an equal playing field, basing the formula on a 50% poverty and a 50% population ratio, it is important to protect funding to high poverty school districts. The amendment will not allow the new Title II formula to go into effect until the Secretary certifies that funding to these school districts is protected at fiscal year 2013 levels, and new money allotted will be allocated on a 65% poverty, 35% population formula. The bottom line is that using these funds, the Success Act gives states and school districts the flexibility to decide how they want to spend their money. This is not our money. This is the property of the states and the state's residents. Funds flow over to the state and local levels so they can set their own priorities for programs that they want to fund and meet the needs of their students. This ensures superintendents, principals, and teachers are the ones making funding decisions that benefit students, not Washington bureaucrats or even the Secretary of Education. Public and private entities can also apply to the state in partnership with school districts for funds to run innovative programs focused on teacher and school leader preparation and development. Now, although I disagree with the gentlewoman that the Student Success Act is a retreat, in fact, I think it's a very progressive set of reforms found in the Student Success Act, I do support this amendment, her amendment, which protects funding for high poverty districts, and the Student Success Act, which gives districts the flexibility to use teacher funds in the way they think is best. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Indiana reserved. Gentlewoman from Wisconsin is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I do want to thank the gentleman for his support. I'd like to yield time now to my colleague, Frederica Wilson of Florida.